The Bravest Mission. A heartfelt story about a family's experience with PTSD. We hope this narrative helps to spark important conversations about mental health and reminds everyone that they are not alone. A faint silvery light filtered through the window, casting long, still shadows across Carter's room. He was awake before his alarm. He looked over at his sister Macy, who is fast asleep in the room opposite him. The quiet of the pre-dawn was heavy, filled only with the low murmur of his dad, Brad, and his mum's voice from the kitchen. For the past few weeks, this had been their ritual: quiet conversations over coffee, the rustling of Brad's military gear, and the careful final packing of his bag. Brad, dressed in his army fatigues, knelt down in the living room so he was eye level with his son. "Hey, buddy," he said. "The army needs me to go on a deployment overseas for a little while." He gestured to a large, soft dragon sitting on the couch. It was emerald green with felt claws and soft wings. "I got this for you," he explained. "He's a special guardian dragon. I recorded a message in it for you." Carter's big brown eyes searched his dad's face, silently asking how long a little while really was. To Carter, it felt like an enormous, unknown stretch of time. Brad, sensing his son's fear, produced a worn silver pocket watch. "This watch marks our time apart, buddy," he said, placing it in Carter's small hand. "Each tick is a promise that I'm getting closer to you. No matter where I am on the other side of the world, we'll both be looking up at the same moon, knowing every second brings us closer to being under one roof again." He promised to write letters and send pictures, and Carter in turn promised to take good care of his little sister, his mum, and his new dragon, who would stand guard in the living room. The farewell was a blur of hugs and tears, and then Brad was gone, deploying with his unit. The house felt too quiet. He missed Dad's laugh, the sound of his footsteps in the hallway, and the absence of his dad left a notable emptiness. But every day, Carter would give his new dragon a tight cuddle, and a familiar, loving voice would say, "I love you, Carter. You are my brave little man, and I am so proud to be your dad. Love you, mate." He would also go outside and look up at the vast sky and the shining moon, holding the pocket watch, a cold, smooth comfort in his palm. He wasn't just observing the night sky, he was sending a silent message, a promise to be brave, just like his dad. As the days crawled into weeks and the weeks bled into months, the long, slow passage of time was a constant ache. Every day Carter would check the mailbox, his heart hoping for a new letter or photograph from Brad. When one arrived, it felt like a warm hug from across the ocean. Carter continued to look at the moon with his pocket watch, and every day he would cuddle the dragon and a small smile would spread across his face. Then, one sunny morning, a different kind of sound filled the house. Not the normal chatter between his mum and his little sister, but his mum's joyful, delighted, "He's here!" Carter ran to the front door, and there he was. No longer in his uniform, but in a simple t-shirt and jeans. There was a look of pure love on his face when he saw his children, but he also looked tired, weathered, and his eyes seemed to be looking at something far away. Carter raced into his dad's arms. Brad knelt and pulled Carter in, giving him a huge, all-encompassing hug that felt like a lifetime of comfort in one moment. The pocket watch was still clutched in Carter's hand, but it wasn't needed anymore, not as a reminder of time or comfort, but as a reminder of the long journey. The reunion was a blur of hugs, a rush of emotions. While Carter and his mum were full of questions and stories, Brad mostly listened, offering quiet smiles and brief answers. The celebratory dinner felt fragile, a quiet tension humming beneath the surface as they navigated their new reality, which was both wonderful and strangely unfamiliar. But a few weeks later, Carter noticed that things were different. Brad wasn't the same. He was home but not really there. He would get startled by loud noises, like a car backfiring or a dropped plate in the kitchen. Sometimes he'd sit on the lounge, staring blankly at the TV, lost in his own world. He stopped going outside to look at the moon with Carter, One night, Carter ran to him with the dragon, but Brad just flinched, as if the sound of his own voice was a stranger. His mum explained to him that Brad was hurt, not on the outside, but on the inside. He's dealing with something called PTSD, she explained. It's a kind of injury to his mind after a very difficult time. It's like his mind gets stuck, reliving some of the bad things that he saw. What he went through overseas changed the way his brain works, making his body feel like he was back in the scary moment, even when he's safe at home. Carter didn't understand. Brad was home. Wasn't that what they were all waiting for? He was starting to feel alone again, but this time his dad was right there in the same room. The dragon, once a source of comfort, now felt like a silent reminder of the joyful dad who was still so close, yet so far away. Then one evening, Carter's mum found Carter in the yard, holding the pocket watch and crying. She knelt beside him. "It's okay to be sad," she said softly. "This is a new journey for all of us, but we're in this together, and you know what? That brave guardian dragon of yours is going to help us. And so is this pocket watch." His mum explained that just as the pocket watch reminds them that time will heal, they would now need to guide his dad back to them, kind of like a map shows the way, and back to the person he used to be. It was a mission, a new kind of bravery. It wasn't about fighting a war overseas, but about finding a way to heal as a family, one slow, careful step at a time. The long journey wasn't over, it was just beginning. A note on healing. The journey with PTSD or other mental health conditions can be very difficult, but you don't have to go through it alone. Remember that seeking help is a sign of strength, and support is available for both the individual and their loved ones. If you notice a family member or friend struggling, reach out to them. And helping them connect with a doctor or mental health professional is a brave and important first step toward getting the help and guidance they deserve.